Hello and welcome to Ryno's Orioles Report. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Well, several months ago, or months ago, when the Orioles went into Chicago, they were able to sweep the White Sox. Well, they didn't get swept when the Chicago White Sox came into Camden Yards, but the Orioles were unable to win the series, which is not good. And they are 8 games below 500, which is slowly getting worse and worse. That's awesome. And some terrible plays are the culprit. Also, injuries mounting, implosions by starting pitchers, not great. Let's get to game 1. Baltimore Orioles 2, Chicago White Sox 8. Yeah. Gunnar Henderson being placed at leadoff spot, top of the lineup again. Now, it seems Gunnar Henderson is greatly affected by this. It seems like Taylor Ward is negatively affected by this. I'm telling you, these two drive me nuts the whole damn year. They can hit out of the leadoff spot, they can't hit out of the 2-hole. And then, at times, it'll flip. They'll hit out of the 2-hole, and then the person in leadoff ain't hitting. I don't know. 2 hits and a walk for Henderson, 0 for Taylor Ward. Adley Rutschman, 0 for, but 2 RBIs. Pete Alonso, 0 for with 3 strikeouts. Semi Basayo, 1 hit. Dylan Beavers, 0 for. Colton Cowser, 0 for with 2 walks. Blaze Alexander, 0 for with a walk. Jackson Holiday with 1 hit. Gunnar Henderson's double. That was the only extra base hit. Yeah, not going to win too many ball games if that's the case. Stolen base by Cowser. Fielding error by Blaze Alexander. I'm telling you, he's playing next to Gunnar Henderson too much. Yeah. Now, in my opinion, there needs to be another error on here because Gunnar Henderson, for damn sure, made an error. Now, maybe you can argue, oh, that's a tough ball to handle. Okay, fine. But you allowed the 2 runners, to move up 2 bases. As in, a guy hit it, ends up on second base. That should never have happened. The guy that was on first base ends up on third base. How should that happen on a ball hit to the left side? And you're telling me there's no error there. Okay. However, Shane Baz gets a start in this one, and he did not deserve the fate he got. He didn't. He really didn't. Baz goes 7 strong innings, only giving up 4 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. Now, the 4 hits and the 4 walks, yes, little high. You would like, let's say, 1 less of each. But at the same time, he only gave up 2 runs. The rest of the runs, yeah, the bullpen gave up. In 2 innings. The Oriole bullpen couldn't give up less than 8. I'm sorry, not 8. Couldn't give up less than 6 runs. They just couldn't do it. Of course, when you have bad plays in the 9th inning, yeah, the runs can mount really quickly. Grant Wolfram, first man out of the pen. Yeah, not as good of an outing as we usually see from Grant Wolfram, but clunker every once in a while, I guess. Only able to go 2/3 of an inning, so the first 2 outs of the 8th inning, it does give up 1 hit, 2 runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. Seems kind of weird that you give up 2 runs, but only 1 hit. Okay. However, yeah. Rico Garcia in to get out of the 8th, and he does it, though he does give up a run. So, or I guess he technically gives up 1 of Wolfram's 1 run, but we'll get to that in a minute. You can see how it exactly played out. No runs, no walks, no strikeouts for Rico Garcia. I'm sorry, did I say Wolfram's line? 2 hits, 2 runs. I'm sorry, 1 hit, 2 runs, no walks, 1 strike. Yeah, I said that. Forgetting what I said. Getting myself out of order. Moving on. Yennier Cano in for the 9th inning. Yeah. Struggle busing for Cano. Woo. Only able to get one out in the 9th. It gives up 4 hits, 4 runs, 2 earned runs. No walks, no strikeouts. Josh Walker. Yeah. There's a reason why. Another injuries. Again, injuries mounting. Coming in to relieve Cano. Does get out of the inning. The final 2 outs of the 9th inning. No hits, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. Alright, so let's get to this video here. This is a condensed version of the game. MLB.com's condensed version of the game. Remember how I said you come into MLB.com, you go to scores, and then you can choose the day, the game that you want. And then you get a wrap section, a box section, which is where I was just at. And then a video section, which there are several different clips. And for the most part, this condensed game is all the clips packaged in one. They do leave some clips out, but for the most part, it's the whole game here. Or, again, condensed game. 15 minutes. So, we'll see. Alright, notes I have for this game. And again, the process I'm going through here, it's changing. I'm going to go through the notes that I guess this it's a summary of what I think happened, but then I'll tell it to you early here in this condensed video, and then when we get to those plays, talk about them a little bit more. How far is Cowser playing over on a double in the 3rd? He was playing way over in the left field. He was a center fielder in this game. But then it was a left-handed batter and the ball goes to right field. Like, how far over are you playing in the left field? Seemed somewhat odd. Maybe if he wasn't playing so far in the left field, when a double to right field, maybe it wouldn't be a double? Maybe? Who knows? Gunnar Henderson unable to handle a ball. An infield hit is how it's rolled. Is it a tough play? Yeah. Does it either kicks off the mound or Boz's glove? Unable to really determine which. I'm not going to say it's an easy play. It's somewhat of a disappointing play because the ball doesn't even reach the infield dirt. Runs score on the play, but luckily, as the ball kicks away from Henderson, Boz is right there and very opportunistic, jumps on the ball, flips it to Rutschman, so that second runner does not score. So good job there. Another bases loaded opportunity for these Baltimore Orioles, and it produces very little. You get 3 guys on and nobody out, or however many outs were. I'm pretty sure it was nobody out. We'll get to it here in the 3rd. And all you get is an Ashley Rutschman sacrifice fly? What? And it's the top of your lineup. That's the issue. It's the bottom of the lineup getting on for the top of your lineup and the top of the lineup doing nothing. Okay, sacrifice fly. Fine. You had the bases loaded with less than 2 outs. And all you get is 1 sacrifice fly? That's terrible. That needs to stop. You need to do better. You need to come through in a clutch more often. Otherwise, you're just going to keep being the team and the organization that can't win playoff games. All right, what do we got? Beavers robbed in the 4th. Cowser robs a home run in the 5th. Yeah. Curious as to what Jason Lockenford thinks about Cowser and his being able to be a center fielder for a whole year now. Did he mean offensively? Did he mean defensively? 'Cause I don't see it. I've always thought Colton Cowser is a superior defender in the outfield. Does he get the greatest jumps on some of these fly balls? No, maybe not, but you know what? You know how you get jumps on fly balls from center field? You play center field more often. Does he have the arm? Does he have the jumping ability to go up, over, and into walls to catch baseballs? Yeah. So, we'll see. Now, offensively, yeah, I kind of agree with him because he's been struggling offensively for a bit now. Here is this Gunnar Henderson play I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough play. I'm not going to sit here. Oh, I wanted to talk about that Kowser double. The Kowser. Shit. I'm sitting here talking about all my notes and I'm not, paying attention here. Okay, so here's the hit there. Yeah, right here. Now, we're going to watch. You see the lefty at the plate. Here is second base right here. You can see that even with this angle, well, I guess, no, we're pretty much straight up, aren't we? Yeah. It's about a straight line here from the base to the wall. Kazer's still on the other side. He's already made his turn and is running towards where the baseball is. How far over do you have him playing when a left-handed hitter is at bat? That doesn't seem weird to you? How far over are you, guy? Oh, that's not how far back I wanted to go. So kind of the problem with them making the clips and not me. Where was this pitch? Middle in, as far as horizontally on the plate. Actually, it's moving away. Appear to be moving away a little bit, and he still pulls the shit out of it. Still pulls it. Now, maybe you still give up a double, but can you keep the run from scoring if you're playing more straight up the middle? Maybe. Now there's that. Several nice throws getting the ball back in for Kowser and several other outfielders, so that's being cleaned up a bit. Not able to get that. Where is this hit again? There's the hit. Yeah, I can't tell if that hits Boz's glove or just kicks off the mound. It definitely slows up a bit, but again, Boz right there. And getting out of the inning. So, there's that. Right? You can't... We'll watch the whole sequence again. You can't just take yourself out of the play. Oh, it got by me. Oh, Gunnar messed it up. No. Of course, he was kind of just sitting there on the mound. Lessons to be learned there, kids. Get up. Field your position. All right, let's scroll through. Finally getting on the board here. Where did they load the bases? It was here in the third. It's here now. The bases are loaded for Taylor Ward. Because you see a walk by Blaze Alexander, a single by Jackson Holliday. Then a walk to Gunnar Henderson. And now here is Taylor Ward at the plate. Again, you see up here at the top. The three bases colored in yellow and nothing here colored for the outs. Yeah, no outs. Bases loaded. Now to his credit here, Taylor Ward puts a good swing on the ball and barrels it up. But right to the dude. And who's that? Mr. Vargas over there. Miguel Vargas makes a nice play on the ball. Rutschman here with his sacrifice fly. But now there's two outs for Pete Alonso. So at least Pete Alonso doesn't come up with the bases loaded and fail again. But he doesn't do a whole lot. Yeah, see, if I was editing this video, I'd edit a few of this stuff out. You know? I mean, you're only taking 2 or 3 seconds off of each clip, but if you do that 10 times, then that's, it's a shorter video. Alright. Yeah, down the line. This garage door, this little nook in that garage door corner, that is coming into play, I feel like, far more often than I've seen. I mean, especially the angle it creates if the ball gets too far in that corner. That I've seen coming into play this season more than I have. Because you can't just pick the ball up and throw in. You're so far in that corner that you actually have to come out of the corner a little bit. Which feel like maybe if they would have shaved the angle off a bit, would have been better. I'm not sure how when making the stadium. Maybe that's one of the only flaws I can see with this stadium is that. Also, the second nook that's out there. And this is Beavers getting robbed. That is a nice play by, who is this? Tristan Peters. All out, sacrificing the body, catching it just before crashing into the wall. You love seeing plays like that. I mean, at least I do. But back to the nook. There's a second nook out there for the door. For the person-sized door, not the garage door. And yeah, ball's gotten in there before, which, again, happened this year. I've never seen it happen ever. And it's just, I feel that you could have constructed that corner a little differently to make it less of a hindrance of you, but you decided not to. Yeah, disappointing. Is this Cowser robbing somebody? Here's Cowser robbing a dude here. Yeah, I mean, that sure as hell looked like that's a home run to me. Can Colton Cowser play center field at Camden Yards? Well, if you've been watching the past 2 series, the one against the Nationals and the one against the Chicago White Sox here, yeah, Colton Cowser can play center field. Because this is, yeah, well, as you can see, it says yesterday, the last game of the Washington Nationals and Baltimore Orioles series. Yeah, he can play center field here, for sure. They're talking about it a lot because it was almost the exact same spot. Yeah, lose a challenge on that shit. Alright, whatever, y'all. Cowser, Gunner with, then that's the 9th. Speeding right along here. Not a whole lot else really happens until later in the game. Yeah, you got Boz getting some strikeouts. That's nice. That's good. Yay. Orioles don't. When did Orioles score again? Oh, I'm sorry. That's the White Sox scoring again in the 8th inning. So let's fast forward a bit. Here's the top of the 7th. Boz getting out. Nothing really happens. Let's move right along a bit. 15 minutes. This is probably kind of long for a condensed game. He gets out of the inning there. Here is Wolfram in for the 8th inning. Yep. What you don't want to do as a reliever coming into a game, in a close game, is hit the first guy you see. You definitely don't want to do that. But, however, and then you give up a double and then a run score because you hit the guy. That was close. Ball gets over your center fielder's head. You got a fast runner at first, but you made it close at the plate because you finally get Gunnar Henderson with a nice relay fundamentals, but it just, it was way out there. The ball was way out there. However, you see Rico Garcia coming into the game. Yeah, see Montgomery hit the double off of Grant Wolfram. So he's on second right now. Yes, there he is right there. And it's Rico Garcia that gives him up. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Rico Garcia. It's just, the first third of the season, he was lights out. Now, all of a sudden, we're seeing what I guess every other team Rico Garcia has played for. It's just, balls aren't dancing as much, or the book's out on him more. Here we come to the ninth. Cano in here. Garcia. Is it possible that it is in relation to the weather heating up? It's possible. Hitters, to a certain extent, have a little bit more advantage. The ball just travels further in the warmer weather. So is that what it is? It's possible. It's possible that has something to do with it. Back to the video here in the ninth. This is Cano in. I'm going to get this guy to hit the baseball. Not a whole lot you can do about that one. Move along. And you didn't need to see him asking for a new baseball. Mr. Mydroff is up. Here's Gunnar Henderson. Oh, and the video had to crap out on me right now. We're going to watch this one a couple times because this one had me ready to drag Gunnar Henderson out of the Orioles clubhouse locker room and kick his ass out on the street and ban him from the facilities. You see the ball here. It comes into Henderson. And again, I don't... Damn video's all jacked up now. But you can see he's going for a backhand, which I do feel like he had time to get in front of this baseball. Obviously, he doesn't think so. I really do feel like he has time to square his shoulders and get in front of the baseball and not backhand this ball. But at the same time, stop dropping that thing. Watch again. It's a little better now, the video quality. And then it does that, and then the video just goes crappily. He actually makes contact with the baseball and slows it down. And you can see the ball just trickling there. And to me, he takes too long to go after the baseball. Go get it, asshole! Go get it! Go get the damn baseball. What the hell you do? Why has Taylor Ward got to run all the way in from that deep in left field? Camden Yards left field now. Why does he got to run in all the way in that far? Gunnar Henderson needs to get off his ass, especially when you fuck it up and botch a play like that. You need to be the one that goes and gets the baseball. The left fielder is too deep. If Gunnar gets off his ass and goes and gets that damn ball, they ruled this a double. A double that doesn't get past your left fielder? What the hell is that? There's an error somewhere. Because otherwise, you don't get two bases on a ball like that. And again, to the left side. The guy that was on first and hit it like running right in the face of the hitter. The hitters are right there. It's not like, let's say if it's hit to the right side, you're running away from where the ball is. The guy on first base, he's running towards where the ball is. How you let him get all the way to third base? And especially that, because if you prevent that from happening, it's first and second. Do you draw the infield in? And in that ball, that Jackson Holiday, that sneaks under Jackson Holiday, we'll see the replay here. You see it better. Does that happen? Does Holiday get to this ball? So at the very worst case scenario, the bases are loaded. Instead of just a man on first with 2 runs in. I feel like that's normally where a second baseman plays, so I feel like he's going to get that ball. Unless they do something stupid with their fielders, which they've been known to do. Yeah. It just seems every series, it's something that Gunnar Henderson's doing that's pissing me off. Maybe the rest of you still haven't seen it, but I think we need to ease off Mark DeRosa. There's a reason why Gunnar Henderson didn't get much playing time. You can't give away outs. Here's Blaze Alexander screwing up. You can't give away outs. Especially if you're the United States World Baseball Classic team that's got Aaron Judge, Kyle Schwarber, and Bryce Harper in the damn lineup. What you can't do is give away extra outs. Here's what you're doing here. What? And he gets in front of me, just brings his glove up. Yup. I still can't believe that Gunnar Henderson play. There was no error on that play. There's got to be an error on that play if we're allowing the base runner to move up. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get to game 2. This one was honestly a lot more lopsided, mostly from the start. Baltimore Orioles 3, Chicago White Sox 9. Whew, yeah. Gunnar Henderson with 2 more hits. Good job. 2 for 5 for Gunnar Henderson. And Taylor Ward, over. Whatever, y'all. Whatever. You're driving me nuts. Dylan Beavers hit and an RBI. Pete Alonso hit and an RBI and a walk. Samuel Basayo, 2 hits, an RBI and a walk. Leody Taveras, 1 hit. Colton Cowser, over with a walk. Blaze Alexander, 2 hits. Jackson Holiday, over. Henderson and Beavers with doubles. And that's it there. Hey, look, no errors, or at least no errors charged to Oriole defenders. Even, yeah, Trey Gibson gives up 8 earned runs. They're all earned. All earned. Yeah, that was, yeah. Trey Gibson gets a start in this game, only able to go 2 2/3 of an inning. Gives up 7 hits, 8 runs, all earned, 6 walks. 6! And then 5 strikeouts. Well, 2 2/3. That's only 8 outs. Right? Am my math right? 3 outs an inning. And then 2. So he only gets 8 outs. And 5 of them on strikeouts. But in the time he gives up 8 runs. What? Doesn't that sound weird? I mean, that just sounds weird to me. But, however, I guess. Josh Walker, first man out of the pen, does get out of that 3rd inning. And then pitches the full 4th inning. Does give up 2 hits and a run. No walks, 1 strikeout. You kind of can't fault him for giving up a run at that point because the momentum is so far towards the Chicago White Sox. You gotta stunt their momentum gain before you can stop the momentum gain, I guess. Does that make sense? Maybe. Or before you can reverse the momentum gain? Something. I think you know what I'm trying to say. Andrew Kittredge, next man out of the pen. Yep. Yeah. Pitching the 5th inning, the full 5th inning for Andrew Kittredge. Does seem really early to use Kittredge, but you're thinking that maybe the dudes can come back in this game, and you really didn't want to use Suarez because he gave several innings. I don't remember what game it was, somewhere in the National Series. You really didn't want him to throw 3 innings. Throws 3 innings for Suarez, the 41 pitches, which isn't terrible. It's relatively efficient, so got kind of lucky there. Andrew Kittredge, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Albert Suarez for the 6th, 7th, and 8th. Yeah, hey. Makes you kind of wonder what the hell is have the Orioles been doing, not having him on the roster for some time? DFAing him and shit. Okay, however, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts for Albert Suarez. Rico Garcia in for the 9th inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. Doesn't it figure the time when the starter implodes early, the bullpen shuts it down late? Why can't you do that? Why couldn't you do that in the game prior? Okay. To a certain extent, maybe it has something to do with who you selected out of the bullpen. Look, when you're done with Boz, okay, it's the 8th inning and then there's the 9th inning. At that point, it's tied up. Why aren't you thinking, as the manager, Craig Albertaz, Kittredge, and then Helsley? Why isn't that what you were thinking? Okay, oh, you want to play this matchup. You want to play that matchup. Well, you brought Andrew Kittredge in, or I guess Mike Elias did twice, to be the primary setup man and backup closer. So, use him that way. But, however, keep doing your thing. That's fine. Alright, let's get to some of the videos here. You can watch Kyle Gibson blow up, or as I say, implode here in my notes. Getting to my notes, Gibson implodes in the 3rd inning. Now, going back to something I mentioned in the last video about mound visits. Again, you've dialed back or added some rules, or you dialed back on the overshift, you gave the pitchers a time limit in between their pitches, you reduced the base path, you increased the bases, which has led to higher stolen bases, so something for pitchers to worry about while they're on the mound. You've limited how many times they can throw over. You limited mound visits in general a while ago. Is it time to increase the mound visits? Or at least maybe separate coaching mound visits and catcher mound visits? Could that have helped this 7-run inning? Maybe, maybe not. Because you can see a mound visit here. But I don't even. That's the 1st inning. That's to help him get out of the 1st inning. But again, 4 mound visits, that's not even one every other inning. Because there's 9 innings. Yes, you can't have 4.5, right? You cannot have 4.5, but isn't it about time we make some rules in favor of the pitcher instead of everything in favor of the offense? What rule have they implemented recently that was in favor of the pitcher? Everything's been in favor of the offense. Maybe some of the expanded roster. Of course, then you limited how many pitchers they could have. So, maybe you can say, oh, well, they expanded the roster. And then they limited how many pitchers you could have. So, we going to do something for pitchers? Right? Are we going to do something for pitchers, or we're just going to leave them out there to fend for themselves? Fuck them. They're getting injured at an alarming rate. Which they really are. But however, Major League Baseball, do whatever the hell you want. I'm sure as far as you're concerned, you're going to get paid either way, so you don't care. Jackson Holiday seemed really close. And again, I'm just summarizing my notes or outlining my notes ahead of time. There's a ball hit by Mr. Peters, and it's kind of dumped in between a second baseman and a charging right fielder, or a second baseman, Jackson Holiday, going out. This may be it here. And no, it's not. This is Benintendi. But I feel like Jackson Holiday was really close to that ball. And here you see Pete Alonso missing the ball, but Taveras getting to it really quickly. And I just felt like Jackson Holiday honestly should have been able to make the catch. But he just didn't, which is disappointing. Here we are in the third, and you'll see Kyle Gibson implode. Yeah. Follow along over here. All right, what else do I got here? Gunnar Henderson finally makes a nice play in the seventh. I feel like plays like what we're going to see from Gunnar in the seventh here are plays why people think Gunnar Henderson is a really good shortstop, but when you have condensed games like this, when you make clips like this, if you're only pointing out the good stuff, then that's what a lot of people see. You got to point out the bad things too, because then otherwise you get everybody thinking this player is a great player when he's really not. Here's what I was talking about, Jackson Holiday. Man, doesn't he look really close to this ball? I mean, he looks ridiculously close to that ball. I mean, I feel like if he reaches his glove out, he catches it, right? I mean, that's what it looks like. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's what it looks like. I mean, he pulls up. I mean, does Taveras call him off? Of course, why is Taveras calling him off? Taveras is nowhere near the ball. I just feel like that is really close to Jackson Holiday. That's really close. I mean, that's within 4 feet of where Jackson Holiday is. But sometimes that's what leads to good outings by a starting pitcher and things that don't. When your defense just needs this much more time or distance to get a baseball for you, and they just can't do it. We'll continue to watch the implosion. Here you got bases loaded now. So there's that. It was this play here. You're going to have another single and then a home run. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't noticed, there are no outs. Yeah. So you get this single that scores 2. Just missed getting that guy third by that much maybe. And then, they're going to show this replay again because we need to see this replay again. I mean, he dumps the ball into left field with with bases loaded and 2 runners to score. That deserved a replay. This is a home run here. Yeah. Then you finally start getting some outs. Yep. Again, this is the problem with me not making these clips. I mean, the only thing I could do is, I'd have to screen record this and then condense it somehow. If I could download it, that'd be one thing, but I can't download this. So, sometimes you just got to take what the defense gives you, right? Where are we at here? Oh, we've already moved on to the 4th inning. I totally missed him. Moving on to the 4th inning. Because they didn't show Josh Walker coming in to get out of the third inning. Okay. If that's how you want, that's how you want. Yeah, here's another run here with 2 outs. That's somewhat disappointing part. You allow a single, and then with 2 outs, a 2-out single, then a 2-out double. That's disappointing, but to a certain extent, the game's over at this point. I mean, that's 9 runs now. They didn't even need 9. They only needed 4. There is a somewhat nice play here by Blaze Alexander that they didn't even want to put in. Which is weird, but it's fine. We'll just skip over all the things. Whatever. Beavers finally with a hit. And driving the run in, so there's that. But again, too little, too late. Not playing the ball well in the outfield there, Mr. White Sox right fielder. Not a whole lot, really, that happens. What is... Alonso singles, Beavers scores. So that's nice. That's cool. Okay, 3 runs. It's 9-3. Who cares, right? Until you start getting really close, nobody gives a shit. Going to the 7th here. You got Suarez on the mound now. This is the Gunnar Henderson play. Diving into the 6.5 hole. Strong throw. Strong, accurate throw to get the runner. It's key there. Key there. If he dives and has an inaccurate throw, then it doesn't matter. But he had a really accurate throw. Good stretch by Pete Alonso. Again, it's plays like that, and you seeing highlights of that play, why everybody thinks Gunnar Henderson's a good shortstop. But, again, if you don't show any of the misplays, or any of the plays that he's just unable to make, whether they're called errors or not, gives people the wrong impression. This is probably enough of this game. There's nothing else that really happens. I mean, you go into 9th, single fly out. Nothing. Blaze Alexander is able to get an infield single, but if nobody else can do anything, again, then who cares? Let's get to game 3. Finally a win. Baltimore Orioles 6, Chicago White Sox 1. How about that? Gunnar Henderson hit and a walk. Adley Rutschman moved up to the 2-hole. Since apparently Taylor Ward cannot hit out of the 2-hole. Hitting an RBI for Rutschman. I feel like this is going to work out better. Just because Rutschman just seems like a guy that could hit in any spot of the lineup. Now, is he going to be the best cleanup hitter? Is he going to be the best leadoff hitter? No, but the way he approaches his at-bats, I feel like he can do the task at the job at any part of the lineup. Then you put Taylor Ward in the 3-hole, hit an RBI for Ward. Pete Alonso 0 with a walk. Kobe Mayo 0 Mayo getting the start at first base so Alonso can DH. That's what happens. You got a lefty on the mound, so you're doing that. Okay. Excuse me. Sammy Basayo pinch hitting for Mayo late. Gets a walk and then goes into play first. Yeah. Seeing Samuel Basayo play some first base. Somewhat surprised they haven't been doing that before, but to a certain extent, they've only more recently been starting to carry 3 catchers. Tyler O'Neill finally gets a hit. See, I'm telling you, he needs more at-bats and more playing time. Hit, RBI, and a walk. 1 for 2 with a walk. That's... Yeah. He needs to play more. And I get it. It's the catch-22. You're thinking, Ryno, he's not getting playing time because he's hitting 187. Of course, Mayo's only hitting 188. But I feel like Kobe Mayo gets more playing time than Tyler O'Neill. Okay. Colton Cowser pinch hitting late and then going into play center field. Over. Yep. Larry Tavares hit, RBI, and a walk. Jackson Holliday, 0 with 2 walks. Blaze Alexander, 2 hits and an RBI. Blaze Alexander with a triple. Don't really think of Camden Yards as a triples park, but yeah. And tough watching the play to see if there's really an error on the play. It just really didn't seem like it was. It just weird carom off the wall, and yeah, triple. Tyler O'Neill, Leody Taveras with home runs. Stolen base by Leody Taveras. Dean Kramer, yes, that's right. Told you so. Dean Kramer gets a start in this game. 6 full innings for Dean Kramer, gives up 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Yep. That's how you come back off an injured list. There you go. Tyler Wells in for the 7th and the 8th. Yeah, seems kind of weird to give Tyler Wells 2 innings, but he only threw 2 pitches. I'm sorry, not 2 pitches. Obviously, that's wrong. 20 pitches. That's a relatively low number for two innings. That's 10 pitches an inning. The average is like 17 or 16 or something. So, yeah, that's part of the reason why he stays out there. Now, for the bad news, you see Andrew Kittredge here for the 9th inning. You're thinking, oh, man, it's like the perfect time for Helsley. Well, see, now it's not a save, maybe it's not. Well, guess what? Warming up in the bullpen, Ryan Helsley feels some elbow discomfort. Yeah, that's disappointing. Now, the weird thing is, and you'll see it in the video, weird things happen because it's not like, oh, you shut down Helsley, you get Kittredge up, and then Kittredge just comes in. It didn't exactly happen like that. I'm not exactly sure why Albernash did it the way he did, but he did. I feel like we'll just put Helsley into the game. Just put Helsley into the game. He's officially announced. He's on the mound. He's looking like he's going to warm up, and then, no, Skip, I'm not going to throw. I have elbow discomfort. I mean, if it's true, then it's true. But do you get, does the relief pitcher after Helsley does he get injury time if Helsley never comes out of the bullpen? So, not exactly sure what you're doing there, Abernaz. Again, put Helsley into the game. Okay. However. Alright, let's get to the video portion of this. We're going to start this, and then I'm going to click on my all button over here. Yeah. Second pitch of the game for Dean Kramer. What do I got written down here? A rough start of the game for Dean Kramer, but he smooths it out, which is, it was needed. Much needed by the Orioles. O'Neill gets Kramer out of a jam in the 4th. Miguel Cairo, the new, as of the start of this year, infield coach for the Baltimore Orioles. He needs to get into a camera well and stay there. He now lives in a camera well. Been a few instances where some other games where, like, for instance, if I remember correctly, out there in Anaheim against the Angels and getting into camera wells, and there's an offensive explosion, and I don't know what it is. Maybe don't argue with the baseball gods. Miguel Cairo, get in one of the camera wells, preferably one down the line, not the one close to the plate, the one furthest from the plate, but still relatively connected to the dugout. Get over there, and that's where you do your job from now. Because, and you'll see, even in this condensed game here, it's shown, it's discussed that Miguel Cairo in the camera well again while the Orioles are scoring runs. I don't know. Again, don't argue with the baseball gods. Helsley unable to come out for the 9th inning. Yeah. Not a whole lot of excitement for the most part in this game. I mean, it takes the Orioles a while to put some runs on the board. Everybody's getting frustrated, swinging their bat at the ball and getting frustrated. Oh, I didn't hit it good enough. Hit the ball better, man. I don't know. Kramer gets first two outs in the fourth. You see a fly out and then a ground out, and we're going to see, I guess, all of them here. And then there's a double. They thought maybe it'd be a home run, but no, it hit the top of the wall and stayed in. So, yeah, ground rules of Camden Yards, that stays. But it's a double, and then you walk the guy. Walk the next guy. And here, what do we got here? Is this a double? No, this is Benintendi grounding out. Again, I don't know why we're watching all of this. I mean, maybe, but again, this is condensed game. Let's get a little faster with it. I mean, it's however. I mean, appreciate them allowing this to be out, right? See, there's that double. You're going to see a replay of it here in a minute, and it's going to be close up. Yeah, they wanted to review it. I mean, it clearly hits the top of the wall. Now, does the pad bend? Does the pad bend and does it hit? I mean, it hits this white line here, but again, what's the ground rule when it hits that seam in between the top and the side of the wall? Well, what's the ground rule there? I don't know. Then Kramer walks the guy. Okay, here's Mydroff at the plate. Chase Mydroff over here to right field. Look at that. There you go. But this is a guy that they don't want to play. This is the guy that they don't want to play. You paid him all that money. He's got to play more. He's got to play more. Come to the bottom of the fourth to watch 3 straight strikeouts. Yeah, no. Let's skip ahead a bit. Oh, here you go. Here we go. Bottom of the fifth now. Look at it. There you go. There you go. Sitting next to Rob Long there. Flashing back. Oh, and this is another time where he's in the camera well. June 10th. Bam. Look at a home run against the Mariners. Yeah. Yeah. You need to stay there. Tyler O'Neill. Happy Canada Day to Tyler O'Neill and the rest of Canada. It's not today. It was yesterday. Yes, it is that close to ours. Yep. Sure, there's a lot of you out there that didn't know that. But that's enough of a history lesson. Yeah, you get a Tavares strikeout after this. But then a walk and a single, and then you change pitchers. There's a walk by Jackson Holliday. Single by Blaze Alexander coming up. Down the line, you're gonna get a Gunnar Henderson single. But nobody scores on the Gunnar Henderson. Yeah, I don't know why we don't need a replay of that. Pitching change, fine, cool, pitching change. Yeah, single by Gunnar Henderson. Nobody's able to score on this. You get Adley Rutschman to the plate now. Again, already 1 run in. Now you get a Adley Rutschman base hit with the bases loaded. Orioles seem to load the bases a lot. They really do. Finally able to come through with something. So there's a run there. Now, yeah, sacrifice fly. But you got base hit, scores 1, and then a sacrifice fly, scores another. A little different. Diving across the plate. That's why you got the speed of Blaze Alexander. Blazing across the plate. Then you get a wild pitch. And you get Gunnar Henderson. Convenient that it was the wild pitch. Because Gunnar Henderson's wild. Or I say Gunnar Henderson's wild. And then you get a walk and then you get a fly out. And that's it. Yeah. Orioles do score another one in the 6th. Well, let's just move along. There's a lot less to talk about. Is this the 6th inning here? Oh, this is the Blaze Alexander triple. Yeah, you're going to see it hit out to right field. It doesn't hit the scoreboard. It just kind of hits right at the base of the... Hits on a warning track right at the base of the wall, and then hits the wall, and then shoots down the wall. Or up the wall, I guess. Towards center field, which... Hey, man. However... That was one run here. Here's a solo home run by Leody Taveras. I feel like it's been a while since he's hit one. Yeah. Again, Miguel Cairo, you got to stick in that damn camera well a little bit more. All right, we're going to get to what's going on with Ryan Helsley here in a bit, less than a minute. I don't know why we're replaying Leody Taveras' home run so many times. Once or twice, sure. It's like 4 or 5 times. Here's the top of the 9th inning. You see Craig Albertaz here talking with the umpires because he didn't want to bring Helsley out. Helsley's sitting in the bullpen. He's out here talking to the umpires. Again, maybe I don't understand the rules. It's possible. It's what happens when Major League Baseball writes the rules and doesn't explain them to everybody. Which, that happens, right? Personal opinion, and again, because nobody is in the game. Kittredge wasn't in the game. Helsley wasn't in the game. Do you have to give extra time to warm up? No. Now, to a certain extent, maybe Albertaz is out here stalling, so Kittredge has some time to warm up, which is probably what this is. But why not just put Helsley out there? Put him in the game. If you're not going to throw him, then it doesn't matter, right? Put him in the game. Oh, he has elbow discomfort, so I need to take him out because of an injury. Now, again, I don't know what the rule is. If you get injured in the bullpen, are you even allowed to put the pitcher in? I feel like the injury wouldn't even become official yet, right? So I don't know. So he's out here talking to him. He's stalling. Kittredge comes out. Kittredge didn't get extra time. Here they're waving him in, even though the clip showed Kittredge already walking out. That's weird. Here's Helsley just, kind of holding his elbow. Haven't gotten a official word on what's going on with Helsley, but it's an off day, so we're probably not going to get it. Kind of a weird throw there by Blaze Alexander, but I mean, outs and out, I guess, right? Here's another out, another ground ball out. Yeah, getting the last out. Another ground ball. Here's Henderson. Why he can do it sometimes and he can't do it other times. All right, let's go back to our old friend, MASNsports.com. We'll get to some articles about some transactions and such. This article here written by Rock Gabatko. Keegan Aiken to 15-day IL, left elbow discomfort. Okay. And Josh Walker recalled. Also in this article, Colin Selby getting a second opinion on his shoulder. Remember, I told you last video that Colin Selby's still having issues. Yeah, that doesn't sound good for Colin Selby. Disappointing. Felix Bautista, on some good note, Felix Bautista is continuing to have a throwing progression down there in Sarasota with the part of the organization down there in Sarasota, and it's including bullpen sessions, and so far there are no setbacks to report of. Everything's going well. So I have no idea the timetable, but if he's already in bullpen sessions, it's entirely possible that he's on the team right after the All-Star break. It's possible. It's possible that he starts a rehab assignment next week. Now, I don't know the schedule of minor league baseball, but it's possible. But again, they're not telling us that much detail. Okay, that's all right. This article here by Rock Kabako, a bit of cleanup on the play in the Los Angeles Angels series when the Orioles were out there on the West Coast of that third game of the series where the Orioles imploded again. Not the last play, but the second to last play where the ball hit to the right side and it was hit more to Jeremiah Jackson when he was on the team. And Pete Alonso was also chasing after ball, even though he should have been covering first base. Keegan Aiken also trying to get over to first base. Remember, it's a low throw. It was, about a foot above the bag? Well, initially they gave Keegan Aiken the error, as in unable to field the baseball, which seems ridiculous on a pitcher moving over to first base and a ball thrown a foot off the ground. Yeah, they changed that and gave the error to Jeremiah Jackson, which, I mean, it sounds terrible, but at the same time, that's the way it should have been called. That's the way it should have gone. But, okay. However, next article here, also by Rock Kabatko, talking about Dean Kramer activated from the injured list, Trey Gibson option down. See? Told you. I called it. Go me. All right. Let's get to the schedule, and I'll get going. As you can see, today, Thursday, off day for the Baltimore Orioles. Going to, actually, I guess they're probably in Cincinnati now. I don't really know their travel schedule, but I feel like you have an early game Wednesday, you get done and you get out of town Wednesday and get into town, before Thursday, so you can have the whole Thursday in Cincinnati. But the Orioles decide on how to do that, I guess. Starting a three-game set with the Cincinnati Reds in Cincinnati. Friday's game scheduled 7:10. Saturday's game scheduled 7:10. Sunday's game scheduled 1:05. And then an off day Tuesday. I hate that. I cannot stand that. I hate three-game sets sandwiched by off days. I hate that. Especially when you have other times where you got a 14 or a 15 or it's in the teens games in a row. But yet, here you have three games sandwiched by 2 off days. Who is running this shit show? However, so that's going to do it for this edition of Ryno's Orioles Report. Please stay tuned for Monday, and I will discuss the series between the Baltimore Orioles and the Cincinnati Reds. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm the Angry Ryno, and thanks for watching, O's fans.